Hello, and welcome to episode 36 of Pressing Buttons. I'm Hugo,
I'm Nick.
and it's great to be here. Another week, another episode. This is episode 2 from the studio.
The studio.
Yeah, the work in progress studio, but
Yeah.
we're feeling good. Hopefully, the lighting's a little better. We got some optimal camera angles for those watching on YouTube. Still work in progress, but it's looking good. We're excited for what the future holds, all of the stuff we're going to be having. Also, press butts. You can see it.
you have to see that on the video. Otherwise, if you're only listening in audio, you're just like, what was that segue?
I broke it.
Yeah.
That was funny. I wanted to see like your reaction.
Okay.
I like to throw in little crazy situations in our recordings just to see how Nick reacts. And usually I got him.
Got him.
All right, but there's not really any little tidbits we want to kind of share this week. I think we're...
Yeah, I mean, incremental progress on the studio. I am no longer in a recliner, which I think is probably better because I looked like I was getting a little too comfortable. And
also, it looked like the recliner was eating you.
Yeah, it looked like I was like collapsing in on myself, and then it also made me look like a very small person relative to sitting next to you. So.
And thanks to Nick's wife, Layla, we got some prime viewing angles. Now we did some Lord of the Rings magic.
She leveraged some Peter Jackson know-how, and now we actually look like we're kind of the same height.
Yeah, we're not the same height, but we look like we're the same height.
But we look like we're the same height.
That's what's important.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to dig right into the news of the week. It was a very busy and tumultuous week for video games, starting with the GTA 6 leak. There was a hacker, UK hacker, on Sunday last week, right after we recorded, that leaked about 96 videos for GTA 6, Rockstar's upcoming follow-up to GTA 5, hotly anticipated. And the internet went crazy just because it's GTA 6. I mean, it's a franchise that made over $1 billion for Rockstar. It's still making a lot of money for them, the online aspect of it. It's been released on a bunch of consoles. So the hacker just leaked a bunch of development videos from the game. And, the internet does what it does. A lot of people were happy just to see some sort of GTA 6 news and videos and stuff like that. I myself didn't know what to feel. I did watch the one video. There's one specific one where like it's some gameplay. They're in a diner or something and they're robbing the diner. It looks good. It looks like GTA. I'm not one of those people that needs like the latest kind of graphic details or anything like that. I like waiting it out for when it comes out. But I do feel bad for the developers working really hard on this game. And there's a reason why developers kind of don't release a lot of information. They want to show you the product when it's ready, and obviously the game is not ready. It's still probably a couple years off from release. What did you think of this? Were you hyped that you got some GTA 6 news, or it was just like...
No, I think this has happened a couple of times before, many times before. I think this is just probably the biggest leak that we've seen, but I very much have a preference for the developers and publishers to market and promote their games how they want to, and they kind of release things whenever they see fit. So I think this is super shitty. The only things I actually looked at were basically things I was like forced. It's like it just kind of like appeared on my social, like it was like on Twitter, it was on YouTube. So like I was like, oh well, I might as well just look at it now. But so I think I saw the same video you looked at, where it's they're like in some sort of like
a diner
fast food or diner or.
And you can see the two, which we had heard before, that there was going to be two protagonists. One of them Latina female, and then one of them a male. And it is set in Vice City, a more modern Vice City. So kind of stuff we knew. Yeah.
So confirm some of the rumors. And yeah, to me that's like what I would expect from development footage. I think there was this whole like uproar from people who probably like don't really have a good understanding of the game development process and how long that can take. And I think a lot of people were just like, oh my God, this looks so bad. And, I think there's this whole, I can't remember who actually said it first, but someone's like, graphics are the first thing that gets finished in a game, and it's just like
Yeah, like you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking
so
about.
so then it's actually been kind of cool where like a lot of other developers have been coming out and showing their games in like kind of like an
The
equivalent
stages, yeah.
stage, and they look super rough. I think the one that one in particular that I saw was from Control. Remedy,
Yeah.
who's the developer, but the game was for Control, which I think won like a lot of like technical achievement awards, and is a really great looking game.
Yeah.
But they kind of were like, hey, like here's what that game looked like early on, and it looks
Yeah.
pretty rough.
Yeah, I saw for Control and Uncharted, I believe, as well. Uncharted
Okay.
was thrown in there.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's super shitty that this whole like kind of marketing and wanting to talk about the game when they want to, like, that's been taken away from them. I think it will be, Rockstar did make an announcement of like confirm that it happened. They said it's not going to be like that disruptive to the development of the game, but I don't know. Like I think there will be, maybe they're able to like isolate the development team to where they're like not super distracted by this, but like it's definitely going to be a thing that they like need to investigate, figure out how it happened, create new processes and things like that so that it doesn't happen again. So it's definitely going to be a distraction, but hopefully they can just manage it so it's not like meaningfully delaying the game or anything like that. So yeah, it's shitty. It sounds like it's like a 17-year-old kid or something.
Some 17-year-old
I think
kid,
they got him.
Part of some hacker group in the UK. I believe they also hacked Uber as well a while back. So they knocked on his door and they swatted him or something. They got the bad guy or whatever. But it is good to see, like you said, the community, the developers kind of stand behind Rockstar and show these videos of in development games and showing people also who don't know, like, hey, it's game development. Like, games aren't really ready until like probably a month before they go gold. That's when you put everything together. Most of the time, it's cut and paste with the combat and the environment and the sound and all that stuff. And also, you can see with when Rockstar put out the statement saying that they were disappointed that the footage leaked and that it wasn't gonna affect their the development of the game. It got 1 million likes on Twitter. I don't see a lot of tweets getting a lot of likes like that. So you can see that a lot of people, even though it leaked, a lot of people are still behind Rockstar and they're supporting them. And I think it looked good for something. The last build, I believe, was from 2021. It looked good. Some people even said it looked better than the Saints Row game that came out recently. So that's a plus. I think it could have turned more sour, where a lot more people would have gone against it. But I think it just gave them more positivity, more positive press in terms of like how the game looks and how people are more excited now to play the game.
Yeah. Also, I think people are trashing on Ubisoft games.
Yeah,
They're like, oh yeah, like this, alpha footage is still better than, most like finished games from like a lot of developers. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully they are right in saying that it's not going to affect the development of the game, and it is still on track, and they don't kind of shy away from the community. But we'll see when they're ready to release some actual footage that looks good, that they're comfortable with. So we'll be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. Even if it's just GTA 5 but in Vice City, I'm all in on that.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I think for the Grand Theft Auto games, mainly because they've just been such like open world games. Like they've always looked like, I think, great, but they haven't been this like, the graphics haven't ever been like super crazy, just because it's such like a large game. So I think that's just the nature of open world games. So
obviously it's like gameplay wise, it's the same Grand Theft Auto. So I don't think people were. It's not like shit.
And I think it's still cross gen, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's always an open question around how much, if at all, cross gen actually like holds back the graphics and technical power of like a game. So we'll have to see. But again, like for me, like I kind of don't care. Like I just want
Yeah.
to do more stuff, but in Vice City, and I'll be happy.
Yeah. It gets here when it gets here.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. All right. And then the next bit of news we want to talk about is the Cyberpunk player boost. So the last week, because of Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which we talked about last week, and we'll talk about in a future episode once Nick finally gets his TV set up.
I'm the bottleneck. Yeah. Still don't have a TV setup, but maybe next week. We'll see.
Yeah. But because of the Netflix anime that just got released, Cyberpunk Edge Runners on Netflix, there's been a big player boost. It seems to be about 1 million concurrent players, at least for the last week, playing Cyberpunk, which they haven't seen since the game released. For those of you who aren't familiar, Cyberpunk released about a year and a half ago. Definitely not what a lot of people expected, and I've discussed this with Nick before, and we kind of talked about it in terms of like us watching early game footage and the demos that they showed of the game. It just seemed to like you could do so many things, and then when the game came out, it was so buggy, and you just didn't really live that cyberpunk fantasy that the game was offering. So and with the lagging and bugginess of it, it kind of got put back. A lot of the player count dropped. People were kind of hating. CD Projekt Red stock dropped as well. So it was just like really bad in the Cyberpunk universe. But because the anime is doing so well, and it is a good anime, I've watched it, it's brought a lot of players back. And it kind of, I'm in the process of maybe probably playing it again, even though I beat the game when it originally came out. We'll see once I'm done with all the other games. Do you think this will affect how the development for CD Projekt Red future games? I know they kind of moved on to The Witcher, but now that a lot of people are kind of moving back to Cyberpunk, do you think this is going to affect their DLC or anything like that?
I don't know. Like I think it's they probably didn't expect the show to be this much of a success, and it just takes so long to really develop anything. So I'd be surprised if they have like more planned in the future that's trying to like directly link with the anime. They did have some DLC, right, where it's like some missions and some of the like the levels and items. So I think they did plan for some of that stuff, but I don't think they planned on it being so successful that it got them to the player count that they're currently seeing. So, but I don't know. Like, I haven't seen the show yet. I hope I can see it in the next couple weeks, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love it. And I think this has got to be like the biggest impact in anime, like whether it's like an anime or a specific show, drawing interest into a game. Like, I don't know, and this is like another CD Projekt Red property, but for The Witcher, I would need to look at when that came out, so that's like the live action series, also on Netflix. I think it definitely drew interest and awareness of the game, but like I don't think it was at that level
to drive people back.
Yeah. So, but I think that's why all these companies are specifically doing this, right? So, I think I've used this term before, but it's like a transmedia strategy where they're just trying to leverage their intellectual property and create content across, basically all possible outlets. So I think it's definitely like a desired effect. I think it's crazy how much impact it has. I think there's a lot of uniqueness with Cyberpunk coming out in the way that it did, where I think it disappointed a lot of people. So, but I think again, this is exactly why people were like, okay, well, we're gonna have a game, but then we want like the movie and the anime, and they're all kind of coming out in at times where they can all kind of like drive awareness and get people to cross over and engage with the same IP but in a different way. So this is like Bungie's been talking about this forever, right? So I think so it seems like CD Projekt Red's been kind of doing this pretty well. I can't think of other so Castlevania I think people really love that anime. It's just that Konami has kind of like given up on making
Yeah.
games.
I'll make
So
any new Castlevania games.
yeah, so there's nothing to like benefit from the anime being awesome. There's a new Tekken. I'll be curious what happens with the new Tekken anime and whether that actually has like an impact to the Tekken fan base. So that's the one I'm keeping an eye out on.
Well, I think this one it's also like it's a very particular case where like the game wasn't great when it released, but a lot of people still bought it,
Yeah.
and the player base was there, and then with the year and a half and all the patches that they released, where the game now is playable and there's not a lot of glitches and they released a lot of content as well for it. Um, that's what I'm more interested in to kind of see the player base count that's actually new players that bought the game and the player base count of everybody who owned the game and just re-downloaded it. Because before we started the show, you were saying that you re-downloaded it, and I was saying I'm gonna probably re-download it and play it now that it's better.
Yeah, I was one of the kind of, I guess I was like an outlier where the game came out. I actually really enjoyed the game. I think it definitely was way overhyped,
Yeah.
and I think they misrepresented a lot of the game, like and most of their marketing. But even aside from that, like I thought it was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it
I
as
think
well.
I played it. I think I played it around like 50 hours or so. That more or less got me through the campaign, plus some side stuff, but not everything. I was fortunate where I was able to get a 3080,
Yeah,
an
right
RTX
off the bat.
3080, which was like that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do was actually get one of those graphics cards. So because I had like a pretty beefy rig, I was able to play the game. It was still buggy, but it wasn't like as bad or like kind of game breaking as
Yeah.
playing it on console. Or even like I think like mid range PCs were having issues. So, but yeah, really enjoyed the game. I beat it, and then I put as soon as I got the credits, I was like, okay, I'm just putting this down, and I'm gonna wait for some point in the future where they fix stuff. There's DLC, and I think this will kind of be the catalyst for me to be like, okay, let's actually go back into it. So I did re-download it. I think I did that yesterday, just to kind of see what it looked like because I have like a new setup now and just wanted to like walk around a little bit, but didn't really play it a ton. I do want to watch Edge Runners first, and then I want to jump back in. I also want to experiment with mods. I think I've heard there's like a lot of really cool mods for the game, so I think
Yeah.
I might dabble in that.
Especially now with the anime, I feel like I've seen that they're making a lot of anime-related mods for the game itself, so you can see some of the characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, characters. I think getting some of the music from the anime in there. And I also heard they actually have a functioning like transit system.
Yeah.
So that's probably the first mod that I'm gonna take a look at. But
Well, it should
You
be
know.
easier than taking the cabs or driving around. Well, but if they fix it, we'll see.
yeah.
Oh.
Although I do even though it's like doesn't control well, I do enjoy driving around in the 911.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things. To me, it felt like Grand Theft Auto, but first person. But Grand Theft Auto had done it better. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting once I re-download it and get back into it to see if it feels different or if my feelings towards the game itself are better. But we'll see. We'll let you guys know when we start playing that. And then right on after that, our next talk on video game news is going to be about Twitch revenue. Twitch just made an announcement that their 70-30 revenue split that they have with creators is not going to be changing. It's going to become a 50-50 split once the creators make over $100,000. Needless to say, there were a lot of very angry streamers. There was about a petition signed, about 22,000 streamers signed a petition to try and have those changes not take effect, which won't be until next year, obviously. But the reason behind this, according to Twitch, is because of the server costs from Amazon, which is kind of funny because Amazon owns Twitch, so it's like you're just paying yourself. There was a lot of discourse. Obviously, with the top tier streamers on Twitch, they don't really need the money from Twitch because they have so many corporate sponsors and stuff like that, I think. And I had a discussion with a good friend on the Discord, Easy Tune, aka Bobby. We had this very passionate discussion, you would say, the only type of discussions I can have about how his idea is that if a lot of these streamers kind of bail on Twitch and go to another service, that'll kind of drive Twitch to change their mind. Whereas I had the opposite idea where I feel like Twitch can make superstars out of anybody. So if they do lose these certain streamers, as long as they shine the spotlight on some streamers that don't get enough views or whatever and bring them to the front page, it'll just create a new era of streamers, and those people will be glad to stay with Twitch just because Twitch is making them stars. So it is kind of weird just to see this whole battle between the Twitch streamers and Twitch, because obviously the creators are the ones that are bringing people into the channel, but Twitch is the one that's providing kind of everything else. What do you think of these developments? Do you think we're going to see a mass exodus of streamers abandoning Twitch as their preferred platform and kind of going to YouTube or anything else like that?
Yeah, it's a really difficult question. It's like where would they go? They can't go to Mixer anymore. And then I think, was it Facebook? Facebook still has it,
whatever
it's still called.
It's not the same.
So really, the only other game in town is YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So it's YouTube gaming. So I think what would need to happen is, I think if a few of the big streamers leave, that doesn't cause any impact, right? And we've already seen that. So like when Ninja went to Mixer, or with certain other big streamers, I think there's like Dr. Lupo,
Dr. Disrespect as well, when he got banned for a bit.
Tim the Tap Man. Yeah, so it's like all these guys have gone to YouTube, and there's no like observable impact to Twitch as a platform. I think people generally are kind of like, actual people who watch streams are kind of stuck to Twitch as a platform. So it would need to be like a very large number of top creators collectively moving to YouTube. Like that's the only thing that I think is actually going to like make an impact.
And yeah, to that point, I would say it's definitely different because the revenue sharing from YouTube as a streamer is different than the Twitch revenue sharing. You're definitely not going to make as much money streaming on YouTube as you make on Twitch. But I don't remember who the streamer / YouTube person was. I believe it was like MTash or something. He made a video just kind of breaking down the revenue part of it, how he makes way more money as a YouTube personality and just putting up videos on YouTube and people going to watch the YouTube videos than he does on like Twitch, on streaming on Twitch or just streaming anywhere. There is that aspect of it, but that itself, it's two different things: streaming versus content production. So we'll have to see what the cost is and how easy it is for people to switch over.
Yeah, I think it'll kind of depend on the creator and like the type of content that they're doing. So, but that's pretty common where if you're a Twitch streamer, you do your live streams on Twitch, that then creates a lot of content that you can then, after the fact, create videos that you can upload into YouTube. And so there's monetization to be had from both platforms. I think the thing that could happen is, again, it's like, why are these people big enough and popular enough to actually be able to generate a lot of views on YouTube? And I think that's because like they were able to successfully navigate Twitch as a platform and gain a lot of like notoriety and awareness. And I think that's been a thing that I've been hearing a lot from like creators, as well as people who just watch a lot of Twitch, including myself, where it feels like the discovery of new streamers has like kind of gone away. Yeah. And like it's really kind of concentrated.
Just focus on these stars that are already there.
It kind of feels like it's really concentrated on this very small percentage of streamers on the platform. So kind of going back to what I was saying before, where it's like, how many streamers exactly is that, and do they have enough incentive to like walk away from the platform based on this, kind of recalibration of the revenue shares? I don't know. I just don't see that. I don't see that being a thing, or I don't see that being a big enough issue where people are gonna like. There's gonna be a mass exodus. I think the other, so this whole rev share kind of 50-50 thing that's just for the subscriptions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, they're also recalibrating their advertising model where they're actually going to have it's a 55% revenue share. So I think that's actually better. Like that's like a better deal for most streamers. But I think that what's going to happen is that's going to create even more incentive to have even more ads, and ads have been like a big problem, or at least for me, like it's so bad.
Yeah, they give you like 8 ads in a row sometimes, and you're just like,
Yeah.
fuck.
So depending on the content, that's like so incredibly disruptive, and then I think that's also been impairing discovery, right? Where it's like, oh, like based on the thumbnail and description, like this looks like it could be interesting, and then you click in and then it's 8 ads. Like you just killed that streamer's chance at someone actually like discovering their channel. So I feel like they haven't cracked the code on how to like actually, advertise on their platform, and I think lots of people are getting very annoyed by it. So I think they've kind of overreached with how many ads they can get into the content, and this is something I've been complaining about, and then I've tried, which not a lot of people know about, but I already forgot the name. I think it's Nitro.
Yeah,
Twitch Turbo. No, is it Turbo or Nitro?
Oh, Turbo.
Nitro is Discord. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think it's Turbo. But anyway, they have some kind of subscription tier that
more subscriptions
they never market or advertise. And so I've been doing that for a few months, but I don't know, man. Like I feel like I've my Twitch consumption has gone like way down. So I think to kind of close that out. So I think to me, looking at Twitch more broadly as a platform, I think I would be worried less about the change in the subscription splits and like that leading to mass exodus of Twitch creators. I would be more like people, the actual people watching the content leaving because there's just way too many ads. And so I think that's the bigger kind of thing that we need to keep an eye out on.
Yeah. I think that to give one last point, I think the Twitch streamers, especially the ones that make top tier revenue, they are kind of, it's kind of a lot to complain about, you could say, just because if you're making $100,000 a year Twitch streaming and you're keeping 70% of that, that's still a lot of money. I mean, it's especially if I'm not gonna say like, I don't want to sound weird to say it's not a real job. It is a real job. It takes a lot. I've streamed. It's a process, especially to be good at it. But it's a lot of money you're already earning. And then you're just going over that. If you're going over that, it's just going to be 50-50. So I mean, people just want more money, man. All money.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think, again, those really big streamers, and I think you mentioned this earlier, where once you reach a certain level of audience size, like Twitch probably becomes like probably the smallest of your revenue. So it might be one of those things where it's like, yeah, it sucks that you're getting relatively less money, but it's like relatively less money on the thing that you make the least amount of money. Yeah. and kind of was like the reason, it could be one of the reasons why you're like so big to begin with. So because the Twitch discovery recommendations gods were in your favor, and yeah. So again, like I think some people will be upset with it, and I also feel like they kind of they were like, hey, we're standardizing everyone's deals. We thought it was unfair that certain streamers got like better deals than others.
Yeah.
So they're like, we're standardizing everything, but then at the end they're like, oh yeah, but we're still gonna have like an opportunity. Like we might in certain cases have specific deals with like the biggest So I kind of feel like they're even backtracking on
Yeah.
before it even like gets rolled out. They're already like holding back some wiggle room so that they can do big deals or special deals with like the biggest streamers. So yeah, it's kind of
Well, now I'm angrier that you stopped me from talking to Pokimane in Vegas. I could have gotten the quick info from her. Next time I see her, I'll ask her.
yeah. I mean, feel free to strike a conversation with her. Just don't violently point at her. Yeah,
that
it was
wasn't a
really
point.
it was the pointing
It
that
was a signification of, hey, it's Pokimane.
yeah.
No, well, we'll see. All right, and then last bit of news we want to talk about was Tokyo Game Show wrapped up this week. I know we talked about last week about the conferences that the showcases that Sony and Capcom and Nintendo had, and then they did the TGS Tokyo Game Show. There wasn't really a lot of announcements in terms of anything new. It was just a lot of old stuff that we had seen coming from Square Enix, coming from Sony, coming from all the Bandai Namco, all those Japanese publishers. I think, and we had talked about this, it was more to do with the it being like the first in person Tokyo Game Show because of the pandemic that they've done in the last 2-3 years. That kind of brought it down. Didn't give a lot of announcements. It was just weird, but I'm all for it now that it's back up. Maybe next year we'll get more stuff. You didn't see anything that you were like blown away?
No,
by?
man, it was a bummer because I think going back a couple weeks, I think we had just come out of like other showcases that were also kind of like
Yeah.
okay, and
Yeah,
then
we did have a lot of high hopes for this one.
yeah, and then I guess again like we're just seeing this trend of all the major platforms are just kind of doing their own thing, but like around the time of these other events, so it almost kind of like what else is left. And I think we thought so this was last week. I think we had high expectations for something from Square Enix,
Yeah.
Specifically on Final Fantasy 16. And then also I was hoping to hear a little bit more about some of the Dragon Quest titles. So didn't really, there's like a few kind of cool looking things, but like didn't really learn
Yeah, it was just
really
mostly,
anything.
mostly interviews. I did see there was a Final Fantasy 16 interview just saying that development's going good.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, there's gonna be a trailer in October, and then
Yeah.
we'll keep doing stuff, but
Yeah.
nothing shown.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
nothing to talk about. Yeah. So I guess we got that one wrong.
We
but
were too hyped for our
too
own
hype.
good.
Yeah. I think it would have been. It did look like there was a lot of cool stuff if you were like there.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of the booths look cool.
But in terms of actual like footage or just new stuff, it was weird. I was expecting something for Square Enix, especially because it's the 35th anniversary of Final Fantasy and the 25th of
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII, and the year's kind of almost done. So I'm like, all right. But I guess the announcing remake part 2 and all that stuff kind of was the big one.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I feel like the star of that like 2 to 3 week period has really been like Street Fighter 6.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I feel like that game kind of just got a ton of buzz and it looks great. So I think that's probably the thing I'm most excited about out of the last couple weeks.
It drove
game
the
news.
show. The booth from what I saw on YouTube, it seemed like it was amazing. So that was the big winner, I think. Fighting games are back, baby. All right, so that does it for the news of the week that we wanted to discuss. So we're gonna move on to closing thoughts. I'm gonna start out first. Finally finished Days Gone. My journey as a bike rider, as a part of this biker gang, is done. It was an okay game. I spent a lot of time in it. It was a lot of collecting. It was just weird, just because I feel like I played this game in different forms so many times, but it's the type of game I like. So, if you're able to, it's free on the PlayStation Collection. If you got a PS5, it's free.
Free.
So make sure you play it. I thought it was a fun game. It did drag on along towards the end. I was like, damn, I wish I could stop playing this game, but I want to finish. I'm a completionist.
Oh, I know you are.
Yeah. But yeah, good game. Check it out if you can. And that just gave me, finishing that up kind of gave me more time to play more Yakuza Kiwami, which is a remaster of the first one, made better. I think I'm halfway through it. I don't know. I'm on like chapter 7 or something. But I've been doing a lot of the side quests. I'm really enjoying the game. It's really funny in certain ways and also very weird in certain ways.
It's a very wacky series.
It is a very wacky series. Yeah.
And like, which I like about it. Like, I think it's great.
The Kiryu slapped a little girl. I was like, what the heck? People are just slapping people all the time. That's funny. I mean, don't slap children, please. But that was funny. But yeah, I'm loving the series. I'm glad I got into it, and I can't wait to play the rest of them. And then TV-wise, I just haven't really seen anything new. Did watch Edge Runners, but I'm gonna wait till Nick sees it because I want to do because we're both big fans of Trigger, the studio that did the animation, and we're also big fans of anime and Cyberpunk. I kind of want to do like a bigger talk about it with Nick, so I'm gonna wait till he's able to watch it, and then we'll talk about it more on our closing thoughts for that week.
Do a spoiler cast.
Yeah, little Edge Runner spoiler cast.
Was that so? That's your first Yakuza game?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Because I had tried to play it before and it just kind of didn't click. But now that I was able to play it on the Steam Deck, like on the go and on the couch and just watch TV and shit while I'm playing, it was like kind of made it easier and now I'm more focused in it. I am playing, I don't know how the voiceover is in English. I am playing it in Japanese with English titles.
It's the only way to play it.
Oh.
Only way to play it.
In certain situations, I do wish, like, I wonder what this sounds in English when they're just, like, yelling or something.
Yeah. Yeah, usually I prefer the, like, original language, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
Although, when I played Ghost of Tsushima, it was like... Huh?
Did you do Japanese?
No, well, initially I was like, let me do Japanese, but the English is, like, so good, but it's also the open world kind of aspect of it, and just like people talking all the time. Like you like, I feel like I was like losing out on like too much stuff because they like weren't subtitling like all the like random.
Gotcha.
So for that game, I actually kind of I focused on English, but I think for Yakuza, I think I generally stick to
Japanese or English.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wait, real quick. I also played Wulong Fallen Dynasty from our good friends. Well, we're not good friends, but in my mind, we're good friends. Our good friends at Team Ninja.
I mean, we talk about Team Ninja like every week.
Yeah. We love the series. We love the Neo series, Stranger of Paradise. We like this one is pretty good. Like I was telling you earlier, it's a blend of Neo if you played Neo and Sekiro if you played Sekiro with the parry system. It does take a little bit getting used to because you're dodging and parrying more often than in any other Neo game. In other Neo games, you would just mostly block or dodge only. But it's pretty fun. I like the combat. I like the aesthetic of it. And I can't wait to play more. And it's coming out next year. I believe it might be coming out early 2023, so I'm excited for that. So, actually, by the time this episode gets released, the demo will be done.
Yeah, is that tomorrow? So is
the 25th, the demo's done. So by Monday the 26th, it'll be gone. But look up some videos, man. If you're a big Souls guy, Team Ninja guy, I think you'll like what you see.
Cool. Maybe I'll download it today.
Yeah.
It's on PlayStation.
PlayStation,
right?
PlayStation, and Xbox, I think.
Yeah, I feel like I'm happy to play games, like do demos, but like I feel like it's like more often the case that all these demos like never come to PC.
Yeah, that's weird.
And it's really annoying.
I think it's especially with this one, and from like the previous Neo 1 and 2 demos that they've released on PlayStation. I think it must just be like they really have a good partnership with PlayStation because they always release some type of demo for these games. They did it with Stranger of Paradise as well. So I think it's just a Team Ninja / PlayStation cooperation thing.
Maybe, but I feel like it feels like it's been like a recent trend where I'm like, oh, great demo, and then not on Steam, and it's just like, damn.
Well, because Steam doesn't have demos; they have early access.
No, they have demos.
Oh, all right. I've never played a demo on Steam,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
they have
don't
demos.
know.
Yeah, and Epic Game Store. I think there's also. Yeah, it's like a standalone kind of
I thought
SKU.
I thought it was
store.
always like where you would play the full game, but up to a certain part, and then you can buy it. That would be the demo with PC stuff.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I think maybe that happens sometimes, but yeah, it's just like its own little
Like
separate
just-
download, and then maybe the save,
We'll
you know,
transfer.
will
over.
transfer over, something like that.
All right. What about you? What are your closing thoughts?
I feel like I didn't get much game time this week. I think I'm finally done with Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Oh, you're done.
Not because it started crashing a bunch.
Oh wow.
So I was already kind of like, I think I mentioned this last week where I'm like, yeah, I maybe have like another week or so of this, and then I'll get, you know, my money's worth, which is free on Game Pass.
So you,
but yeah, then it's-
so you got more than your money.
Yeah, I made money. Yeah. So yeah, I was already kind of like expecting to tune out, and then the game kind of like started crashing on me regularly, which I think the game is like still like early access or whatever. So, you know what? I guess that's kind of not that surprising. But that was enough for me to just like, okay, I think I had enough of this, and maybe I'll check it out again down the road. So I think I'm good with that one. One game that's been popping off on lots of websites and social channels. It's a game called Trombone Champ.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, so
It's a rhythm. It's a rhythm game, but with a trombone, right?
it's a rhythm game. Yeah, you nailed it. It's a rhythm game with a trombone. I mean, it's definitely like very silly, and the characters look kind of like
Me character.
yeah,
right?
like Animal Crossing or like Me characters. So they look like it looks really funny. It's a lot of just like old like royalty free songs, you know. So it's stuff like "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" and like
the one I saw was
classical music.
Beethoven.
Yeah, I think there's like Beethoven stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I was like, I saw a bunch of videos. I was like laughing my ass off at it, and I'm like, oh, I gotta check this out. So it's only $15. So I downloaded it on Steam, played it for like 10 minutes. And I'm just like, I don't like this. And I think this might be like the first or second game maybe that I've ever like refunded. So I did a Steam refund. I just don't like. So I like a lot of rhythm games. But for this one, just like you have to use your mouse, and you like put your like roll your mouse up and down as like a way to kind of like.
Oh wow! So no keys, no like you can't use the keyboard keys.
Correct. Yeah.
wow, that's nice.
Maybe there's a mode where you can do that, but the intended control scheme is like you're going up and down with your mouse, and that's like I guess meant to simulate like playing a trombone or something.
You have to click.
So you can click, or you can use like a key on your keyboard. So I was just using, hitting my space bar.
So it's a combination of move the mouse and then click
Yeah.
on a key when it's that's
Yeah, yeah. So I hate like I did not enjoy that at all. So it was like I didn't like the control scheme, and then the song selection. I think they'll fix that over time, but after playing like the songs that like playing them like one time, and it's like kind of funny, like hearing the trombone as it exists in the game. But after you do it, you're just like, okay, like I'm literally never playing this again. And like I laughed. Like I think unless you really want to get into this like control scheme, like I think just watching the videos on YouTube or something is like you'll get roughly the same amount of entertainment value, because it's funny. It's like I was again like laughing my ass off. I think I texted you guys like I'm like, dude, this is so funny. Yeah. But yeah, so it just didn't, it wasn't for me. Refunded it.
If they get like gamepad support, is that like a thing? Do you think it would make it better? Would you want to become a trombone king?
I think I need like I need like a physical trombone controller. Like I didn't like the mouse controls. So until that gets resolved, I think I'm just.
I'd be down because
Yeah.
I'm not a big rhythm game guy, but like the reception that
Do
I
you know
got on
why?
the internet, because it's I don't know why.
Because you don't have any rhythm.
We've discussed this. I have rhythm. Anyways, yeah, if they get like a trombone gamepad, I'm down. What
But
else?
yeah, that so I played that a little bit, and then I mentioned earlier I re-downloaded Cyberpunk, but that was more of just like I turn it on for like 10 minutes, and then I'm probably gonna pick that back up in the next week or two after I check out Edge Runners, and I think that's it.
Well, you did some studio stuff. Like I know you were messy
Yeah,
around with the audio and stuff like that, trying to set it up. We're still working on that.
Yeah, that keeps me pretty. That's like takes time. So you got like a new camera and other things. Trying to set up all the audio is very complicated. But you know we're getting there.
It takes us 2 hours, but it works.
Still need to fix the lighting. Still need to. There's a lot of work that needs to get done, but you know it's a work in progress. We got our new sign.
New sign is gonna go up.
Yeah.
Right now it's just press buttons, but it'll be pressing buttons soon.
Yeah.
But it, thanks to Layla, we were able to fix the lights a little bit better, the angles a little bit better. But that's a good thing about our podcast. It's a work in progress, and you guys are in for the ride.
Yeah. New chairs.
Oh yeah, no.
Or new, just one. This one was here last week, but this,
we look normal now.
This chair, yeah.
It doesn't look disproportionate.
I know. It was like funny to me. It was funny, and then, but I knew that wasn't going to be like what we're going to do every week.
Yeah.
But I thought it was funny to have like one where
I
I
mean,
looked like a toddler.
I was a little bit self-conscious of how huge I look compared to you, and I am a bigger guy than you. I'm 6'4", and you're 5'10",
5'10", 5'11", something
Can't
like
even
that.
remember how tall you are.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, so just
Well, I think I used to be 5'11", but I think I'm shrinking. So
we all shrink when we grow older.
so I think I'm now I'm closer to 5'10" now.
Yeah. So
I don't like to talk about it.
So I just felt like really weird. I was like, man, I look huge on that chair, and Nick in his recliner looks like a tiny human.
That's why they call you Hugo.
Yeah. Well, they used to. And that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, right? We're good
That's
to
all I
go?
got.
Good to go? All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Episode 36 of Pressing Buttons. We will see you again next week with another brand new episode. I'm Hugo. Bye.
I'm Nick. Later.